Hey, everybody. Welcome to our first guest speaker of the fall semester for MKT 353 Sports Marketing. I'm excited to have this guest who is uh, a current Hawk in grad school, also is an undergrad, a class of 2023. Jake Biersack is inside sales rep for the Philadelphia Union, and I really wanted him to kind of talk to you guys, just tell you a little bit about what he did. It wasn't that long ago where he was exactly where you're at in terms of finishing up school and looking to hopefully break into sports. And so I'm excited to have him join you and tell you a little bit about his story. So welcome, Jake.
Yeah, thanks, JP. Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Jake. Just a little bit about myself. As you mentioned, I am an inside sales rep for the Philadelphia Union. I'm also president of a grassroots uh, youth tournament and league association called ECT. I'll talk about that more towards the end. But yeah, a little bit about my background. I'm from Toms River, New Jersey, right by the Jersey Shore. Essentially, I went to St. Joe's because I thought they had a great sports marketing program. I wanted to be right by the city of Philadelphia. So I said, why not St. Joe's? Had JP as professor for multiple classes. Loved all of his classes from sports marketing, ticket sales, selling and sales, and such. And right now, I'm actually getting my MBA at St. Joe's too. About done with that, but more so on my professional background. While I was in college, I actually broke into sports, being a data analysis for DraftKings. If you guys are very familiar with that, working towards the college athletics end of basketball and football. And then once I was done with college, I wanted to get into sales, specifically in sports. So I found an opportunity with the union, and I've been with them since January of this year. And it's been phenomenal. So basically, my role with the team is just driving revenue, selling tickets more so towards the premium end, the group end, and the season tickets end. I think, JB, you are actually a season ticket holder for the union.
Yeah, section 129.
Yeah, one of the better ones there. So that's awesome. Glad that you are a season ticket holder. But yeah, my role is just to get revenue, gain revenue for the team, help out more so on the fan service side of things. So making sure our season ticket holders are all good. And basically just make sure that the experiences for the fans at the game and for the season are all good.
Great. So I guess, tell the students just a little bit about how you sort of started with the union. How did you find your sort of first opportunity there? Kind of to walk them through that process a little bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I actually started there as a post-grad intern. They do internships all throughout the year from fall, winter, spring, and summer. I found that actually on Teamwork Online when I was working with DraftKings. It was something that I really wanted to get into sales. So I was a ticket sales and fan service associate with them for about 5 months. And then they wanted to, for 2025, they wanted to gain even more revenue. So they asked me to hop on board for full time for inside sales. They're always hiring, especially around this time of the year where they're looking for fall and winter interns, especially in the ticketing department. They have some really cool opportunities for students. So don't shy away from Teamwork Online. Make sure that you are, approachable. Make sure, that you really want it, and, good things will happen.
So, what are you doing now? I mean, the season's winding down, right? I mean, so I think you only have what, one game left or two home games left?
Yeah, no, great question. So we got two home games left. I actually got one tomorrow against Atlanta, and then we got a game October 19th against Cincinnati, who I believe is actually third in the Eastern Conference. So essentially, when the season winds down, it does get a little tough, but this is when we bring out different types of plans. We bring out our full season. We kind of announce like we're basically getting done with the early bird special. So basically, we're getting out with the full season. We also just announced partial plans. We have a 5-game partial plan and a 10-game partial plan for the season. So basically, we only average about 1 or 2 home games a month. So it is super flexible for, compared to the Phillies, where I tell people where it's a lot of games throughout the season. It's 162 games. But basically, what we do in the off season is reach out to leads that are given to us, mostly people that have been to games recently, and, try to get them on board for 2025. We have some really cool benefits, which I personally love with the union, going from exchange programs to meet the team, open practice, things like that. But, it never stops. It's something that, a lot of people don't really understand when they start working in sports is, the MLS season at the end of the day is from March or October, but it's never stopping. You always got to prepare yourself for 2025, whether that is, for current season ticket holders or people that want to buy suites for next year. It's a really, strenuous process, but it's super, super worth it.
Okay. Yeah, we one of the topics we've talked about in the last week or so is just looking at fans as sort of product usage. So it's sort of taking like
Yeah.
looking at the avid fan or the diehard fan versus the casual fan, and always trying to bring people up. Are you involved in that process where you're looking at single game buyers and trying to get them in the mini plans and mini plan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So actually, as an inside sales, one of our biggest things, I work more so now on the premium side of things. But right when I started, literally all my leads, they would say, "Hey, these are people who have been to one game this year. Get them on for full season." So it is very difficult, but when you kind of like break down saying like, "Hey, I understand you've only been to one game, but we only average about one home game a month. So if you want to hop on for 2025, it is very flexible and affordable. Our biggest selling point too is, yeah, maybe you're not the biggest diehard Union fan in the world, but a lot of people that do go love soccer and they love the flexibility being able to go out at a very affordable price. So one of our biggest things we actually talk about is Messi coming to the stadium, right? Messi plays for Inter Miami. Those tickets are a lot of money to go just go buy online at SeatGeek or StubHub or something like that. So we say, hey, maybe you're not the biggest Union fan right now, but keep coming out the games. Especially, all you got to do is put in a deposit for next year, which we actually run like a monthly payment plan to make it even more flexible. So if you want to go out and watch Messi rather than spending 500, $600 per pop for just that game, you can hop on for a full season and basically get that whole season for that same exact price.
Okay. So is Miami FC only part of a full season plan?
Yeah, we don't. So for partial plans, we don't include it. Basically, we have a lot of season ticket holders and a lot of partial plans. Something that is very, very cool to us is, we're a very soccer specific stadium. We're not like, we don't play at the Link. We do, on very rare occasions, but, we play at Subaru Park out in Chester. So it is a soccer specific stadium. We only fit about 18,000 in, our whole stadium. So tickets go by fast, especially with how we've been playing in the last few years. So getting tickets in general for games are very, very tough to come by. And simply for the Miami game, we sell out of those as soon as the schedule releases. So that's one of our biggest selling points to more so the casual fan that, hey, they love soccer. Maybe they don't love Union, but they'll come out to multiple games knowing that they have guaranteed seats to watch Messi and Suarez play.
What's your game day like?
Absolutely. Yeah. So let's just say, for example, tomorrow we'll play Atlanta at 7:30. It's going to be a really good one. We're in the playoff push right now. So going to be a great game. Let's just say get to the stadium around 4 o'clock. We have basically staff assignments. So yeah, we sell during the week, but on game days, you're not really only just selling. My schedule tomorrow is I'm actually helping out with the banners on the field. You're very it's you got a lot of different responsibilities working in sports, but at the end of the day, you are working for a sports team. So you're working at a great industry. But yeah, so tomorrow I'd be on the field helping out with banners with some of our group tickets. We have a couple soccer clubs coming out, youth soccer programs. So I usually help out on that end with me working in like grassroots sports myself, outside of the union. But I usually help out with that. And then after that, I'd usually go to like a sales table for a quarter, or not a quarter, a half. And then we actually do something called seat visits. So basically either prospects or people that just bought, go chat with them for a bit, make sure their experience is okay. So yeah, I do work in sales. At the end of the day, you're doing a lot of things in sports, whether that be, servicing people, making sure that everything is okay, and helping out with, just the community within the union. We have a foundation too. I work with the foundation. So yeah, it's very, very tricky on game days, very, very hectic, but sometimes you just gotta embrace the chaos. Um, but yeah, usually when the game is done, say goodbye to all the fans, go home for the night and do it all over again.
So Jake, I know you took the sports selling and sales course, and we've got some students that are taking both marketing and sales at the same time. And I always ask the question in the beginning of the semester is who wants to work in sales? And there's always this, a lot of hesitancy because it's sort
Yeah.
of this area of sport where people really don't want to get into it and don't know what it's about. Um, what's your view now of the sales role now that you're actually doing it every day? Like, do
Yeah.
you, do you enjoy it? What are the challenges?
Absolutely.
What sort of
Absolutely. No, I'm glad you actually asked that. So, while I graduated back in 2023. I'm not very much older than you guys. I'm only 23 years old myself. So about a year and a half ago, I was in the same shoes as you guys, trying to figure everything out, whether that be working in sports or just working in general. I want to get in and work for marketing. I applied for the union to work for marketing. But, I always had some sort of drive for sales, and they said, hey, based on your personality, we think you'd be a great fit for sales. So I hopped on board for that, and I love it. At the end of the day, I like to think about it this way. When you're working in sports, I like to compare it to, or not like to compare it to like insurance. You're not talking to people every day about, car claims or insurance. You're talking to people about going to a soccer game or having a great time with your family or going out with your friends. So at the end of the day, it's not really a nuisance to them. That's what I found personally. When they say the union, they'll be like, oh my God, the union. Like, I love the union. Because at the end of the day, it's something that they love. They've been to a game. It's something they could relate on. So I would definitely not shy away from the sales side of things in sports. It's a great stepping stone for marketing too. We have a lot of people within the union that are, senior managers of partnerships, sponsorships, and marketing, things like that. And they all started out in inside sales, and they all started out as group sales. So I would definitely not shy away with it. They both work hand in hand. And it's a great stepping stone if it's something that you're very interested in.
all right. So one of the other things that we sort of talked about over the last week or so was sort of how teams differentiate themselves from their competition. So you don't normally think of, in Philadelphia, the Sixers competing with the Flyers and the
Yeah.
Phillies, but they do when we talk about discretionary income and fans. And so, what is sort of when you're talking to that prospect, what is the value proposition that you're telling why a customer should go to the union versus buying something else?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That does come up, especially with people saying, "Oh, I just bought partial plans for the Flyers." The Flyers season's just about to start up. So, or people will say like, "Oh, it's great. I love coming to Union games, but it's not in the sports complex. Like, it's not around that." You could kind of look in the sports realm of things. You could kind of take cons and turn them into pros. Like, yeah, we aren't in the sports complex, but that's what makes us different. We have a beautiful backdrop down by Chester County. We have one of the only soccer specific stadiums in the MLS. And something we really like to do is talk about benefits and flexibility. That are our two things that we like to talk about. Benefits, flexibility. So I like to bring up the thing is like, yeah, it's awesome. I love the Phillies too. I'm actually a Yankees fan, but you got to say that too. Yeah. But I say, hey, I'm a Phillies fan too. Absolutely. But, the biggest difference with us is, they got 3 home games a week. We have 2 home games a month. You know what I mean? So on the flexible side of things, when you think of a season tickets, you always think, oh, it's a huge commitment. But with us, we only average about 20 home games a month. And we do a lot of different things other than these Philly sports teams where we make it very exclusive for season ticket holders, meaning like we have open practices a few times a year where we only select a few people to come out to those, get some autographs, talk to the players. We have very exclusive events where preseason we have like a Q&A with our head coach Jim Curtin for new season ticket holders. And we have very cool things like exchange program, meaning you got 2 season tickets, right? Can't make it to a game for whatever reason. We actually give you 4 back in exchange for free. I don't know if you ever use that, JP, but we do offer that with the union. So we try to differentiate. We never try to bash other Philly sports teams. It's not what we want to do. But, we try to make it saying like, hey, yes, it's different, but it's a good different rather than being it like, oh, yeah, we're not in the sports complex.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's shift gears here. I want to open up the questions. I know some students have some questions for you, Jake. So, anybody want to start off here?
Don't be shy either. I was in the same shoes literally a year and a half ago. I get it. I get it.
Who we got here? Abby?
Hi, Jake. Thank you for coming today. I was just wondering because I know a lot of people that work in sales at a place that I work at home, and I just want to know like what skills do you think are most important for succeeding in sports sales?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest one is personality. I think being very personable with people when you talk to them really makes a big difference rather than just being a sales call. We like to talk about building rapport with people. So like they'll say like, "Oh, my son has a soccer game," and we'll get into what team they play for, how long they've been playing for, things about that. My most successful calls or most successful talks at games is not just bringing up, "Oh, this is their season tickets, go buy." Like it's building rapport and being very personable with them because at the end of the day, they'll be more personable with you, and that could lead to a sale. So I would definitely just say personality and organization is very, very key. A very messy salesman is not the best. So definitely be organized, make sure you got your things in order, and be very personable.
Good question. Who else?
With like
Yeah,
European, oh, sorry.
Aiden and then Levi.
Sorry,
Go ahead,
Levi,
Aiden.
my bad. I cut you off there.
It's okay.
Um, what is like your background in sports? Like, have you always been like a soccer fan mostly, or like did you know you wanted to sell for
Great
soccer?
question. Not kidding you. Premier League is like one of the biggest soccer leagues in the world. I didn't know what the Premier League was until last year. I have zero soccer background. Never played in my life. I just thought like, hey, I love working. I just think working in sports would be super cool. And the opportunity came up, and now I love soccer. I follow Brighton. If you guys follow the Prem League, I'm a diehard Brighton fan now. I watch them every Saturday morning, and you really get to know the players. It's when I watch my first Union game in person, you're like, wow, like it's nothing compared to what you think of. It's the atmosphere is insane. So I've never had a soccer background. I just knew I wanted to work in sports, and now I love it. So if you're someone who doesn't play soccer, literally come from me. I was the complete opposite. I hated it growing up. Don't shy away with it. It's awesome. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's weird that it works out that way, Jake.
Yeah.
I worked in professional football my entire career, and I never played football. In fact, I never even went to a school that had a football team,
Yeah.
including St. Joe's. And now, it's just it's weird. Good question, Aiden. Levi, what you got?
I was just gonna ask with like how like with European soccer like players starting to come over like the superstars like Messi and stuff like how you manage to like market them like what different marketing techniques you may use and how do you like manage to adjust the prices for like individual game days for when those players are coming.
Yeah, no, great question. I think actually that's one of our biggest sales tactics is especially for the more casual fan rather than like a union fan. The union fans are always going to come, but the biggest struggle is people coming out to one or two games a year where, they're just kind of a casual soccer fan. But now we market Messi, Suarez. When Ibrahimovic came over, we marketed him as well. I wasn't there for that, but we marketed him as well. It's a very great way to not just market the union, but to market the MLS in general because it is growing a lot. They're actually saying they're trying to expand the Union Stadium to like 25,000 by 2030 or something like that. So, a lot of great possible things on the marketing side within that. And yeah, no, I think it's really working. I'm glad that players are coming over and it's really helping us drive sales.
All right. Who else? Anybody else got a question? Kate, yeah.
Do you want to stay in sales or are you also kind of using it as like a stepping stone to get into another like department?
No, great question. I think I love sales right now. I wouldn't shy away with it. If an opportunity came to go work somewhere else within the union, I actually just applied for grassroots marketing job there. But I personally thought, I was able to go farther in the interview, but I was like, you know what? I'd rather just stay in sales. I think, the more once you start getting into it and you understand it, it's an awesome job. People think sales is scary. You got to talk to people. You got to talk to random people. But at the end of the day, when you're working in sports, you're just literally talking about sports, right? It's not a very hard thing to talk about, especially if people are interested in it. So would I use it as stepping stone? Yes and no. I would love to advance my career in whatever field I really want to do in the future. Because again, I do work for an MLS team and I work in sports, but I don't have it all figured out. I'm just like you guys, I'm just trying to figure out where I want to be. And if it is sales, it's awesome. And if it's not, then I'll figure it out another day.
Jake, what do you what do you do in the prospect potential customers? Is it just leads that come in from a manager that you have, or do you do anything else to try to generate revenue other ways?
Yeah, no, absolutely. One of so leads we actually do have, our manager does supply those. It's usually single game buyers, people that are in partial plans. But one thing we actually love to do is LinkedIn. We actually connect a lot on LinkedIn. That's one of our biggest tools too, to kind of get more personable, because our managers and directors love the personality that we could bring to the table when talking about sports. So we use LinkedIn a lot for that, especially people that want to get premium seats or suites or things like that. So we always message on LinkedIn all the time.
Okay. Good. What else? Anybody else have any questions? Well, I guess, one question I have for you, Jake, just because, I told the students a little bit about your background, and
Yeah.
what would you, now that you've sort of broke into sports, that's sort of the hardest thing to
It
do.
is. Yeah.
What would you have done anything differently at your time at St. Joe's as an undergrad? Would you have tried something else or done something differently now that you sort of see it on the other side?
No, I think everything kind of went to plan. I did work in sports. I was lucky enough to work in sports in college, working for DraftKings. And then I got the opportunity with the Union. It is a very tough field to get into. And, it's a grind. Don't get me wrong. We had 2 home games this week. It's a grind. But it really is worth it. I personally wouldn't change a thing. My best advice is get experience, like whether that be an internship or working part-time in the summer within the sports organization, whether that be like a fan service rep or a ticket sales rep. I would absolutely go in that route to get some experience, because my bosses, and I know other bosses I know, my one buddy works for the 76ers and he's the same way. So yeah, no, I would definitely wouldn't change a thing. I definitely would not.
Okay. Yeah, the other question. So you're actively selling premium now? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, so basically, we just expanded our premium side. So we used to not have like a dedicated premium sales department, but now we
Right.
do. We're actually expanding more premium seats into the stadium for 2025 on both sides of the stadium. So like where the river end is and the north end, we're putting more premium seats there. So they need some extra help on that. So me and another inside sales rep is helping out with that. So mostly I'm working in the premium side. Obviously, I'm still working in partial plans, season tickets, group sales. You're like a Swiss Army knife working in sports. You got to really want it. You're going to really want to get any revenue for the team and help the team out as much as possible. But yeah, no, I am working on the premium side.
So talk maybe explain to the students, because we've talked a little bit about sort of some of that, the different types of products. So you've
Yeah.
got what you classify as premium, but these are it's club seats.
Yeah,
field
so like club seats, field level seats, suites. We have something called the Prime Point Lounge. I don't know if you've ever been up there. That's considered like a premium section. Club LSA, which is like an all-inclusive food and drink area in the stadium. That's all, considered premium. And especially, I think they wanted to ramp it up is because we did get everything approved for the new premium things in the stadium. So they're starting construction on that at the end of the season. So we're actually actively, it's not out yet. I think you guys are probably the only ones outside of the union that may know this now, but we are actually going to be selling some new premium seats for 2025. So they definitely want to be able to sell all of those out.
where they're in the corners, you said?
They're going to be, so like where the river end is, they're going to be, I believe it's going to be kind of like a couch style. I don't know if you've ever been down to DC Stadium, how they kind of have like a couch style behind the nets. And we're actually having like 2 bars on each side. So I believe what the plan is at the moment is on one side, it's going to be like those premium seats. And the people that sit in those premium seats get their own exclusive, like English themed pub type of deal. And then on the other side of the stadium, they're actually building like a speakeasy type of theme. So,
Oh, this is over by where the Son of Ben's at?
yeah, correct. Yeah.
Is it up above them or is it below, like on
It's
the
going to
floor?
be below. It's going to be like a very exclusive area underneath, kind of where like the locker rooms are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Got
where
it.
they come out. Yeah, they're trying to build. It's going to be somewhat small because at the end of the day, it's very exclusive to the people that sit down in those areas.
Right.
But it's all kind of just a work in progress. We are going to announce those very soon. Probably towards end of October, early November is when
Okay.
we're going to start announcing those seats. But
What's the price point on that kind of product?
so we don't have the exact number yet, but that's something that like our ticket operations team is talking about. But it's probably somewhere where the price range of like a midfield field level seat. So probably about, I would say about like 8K a season per ticket, 7K per seat or something like that. Probably around like I'd probably say about 8K per season, something like that.
Okay, so that'll be a product that you're going to target either businesses
Yeah.
or
Yeah, that's
potential.
actually, no, that's a great way. Some people say like, hey, I don't really want to go out to that many games. So a great way to leverage tickets, whether that be like season tickets or premium, is you could use that towards your business. You could bring out your prospects. You could bring out your clients. You can go bring out your coworkers and, your employees. So working in sports is, yeah, it's business to customer, but could also be business to business. Right now, I'm actually working on a deal with an IT company where they want to go buy a whole suite for a season. It's a whole contract. So yeah, it's business to customer sales. At the end of the day, it could be business to business as long as you keep growing your book of business and, keep just chugging along.
All right. All right. Any other questions you have for Jake? Abby, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry.
That's-
When you started up in sales, was it like hard to start in the beginning? Because I don't even know like much about it, like how you talk to people, I guess, but like how did you learn like how to start when you started?
Yeah, no, they put you through like one, I am like a very talkative person, so that kind of just came naturally to me. I don't know if you're able to tell through all this. I can just don't shut up. But yeah, they put you like through a training process. They understand that you're just starting out in sales. So basically, like your first month or two in, it's just kind of all learning. Still, at the end of the day, I've been with them for a while. I'm still learning. We have people there who've been there for years that are still learning. I don't think you could ever perfect sales. If you're able to, you'd be a millionaire. But I think it's all kind of just a learning curve. And I think, the more you train, the more you do it, it's just practice. At the end of the day, more repetitions means you'll get better at it. But yeah, yeah.
That's a good question. Anybody else? All right, I guess the question I have, Jake, is what advice would you have now for a student that's looking into break into sports or stand out when they do apply for a job like on LinkedIn?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the biggest thing is getting that experience. I think it's very, very, you know, worth it to get an internship, whether that, or at least attempt to get an internship with a team or a league or something in sports. Like how I broke through was I worked for DraftKings for a year and a half. That was hard to get, but once you're in the sports industry, you're kind of already there. So the hardest part is getting your foot in the door. So I would definitely go get experience. When I've been applying for sports jobs, people say like, wow, St. Joe's is such a great school. So you guys are already a step ahead with that. So definitely get experience. Make sure your resume stands out. Get some good references. References are really, really important. Especially in the sports world. I got asked for like 5 of them. So yeah, references, resume, and experience.
What did you do at DraftKings? I don't
Yeah, I
remember.
worked in data analytics for college
Okay.
sports. So yeah, it wasn't sales, but I at least got that foot in the door because, maybe I wouldn't say everyone knows everyone, but it's kind of just like he said, she said kind of type of deal where, they're always around. People go from team to team or business to team, things like that. So just getting that experience and getting your name out there is very, very crucial in sports.
Yep, I agree. I agree. Tim and I worked together at the Eagles many years ago.
Oh, McDermott?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I know. Jackie. I don't know if you worked with Jackie.
Jackie was the team president's assistant at the time, and
Yeah, she's with the
yeah,
union
and
now.
I've had a lot of friends that have kind of have spent some time at the union,
Yeah.
and a lot of them, a lot of them, a lot of them started at the union and used it as an opportunity, and then moved on, and then so I do think the union is a really kind of a great place to start your career. I think you can really
Absolutely.
learn about sports and kind of use it to advance quickly either within or go somewhere else. And I think that's a great opportunity for you. And I do like the fact that you said that, that you don't have to necessarily know anything about soccer. You'll learn it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I knew nothing. I literally knew nothing about soccer going into it, but now I love it. I watch, other games. I watch Premier League games now. I know a lot of the MLS players now just from working in and being around it all the time.
Yeah.
So I definitely would not shy away from, yes, the Union aren't the Eagles. Yeah, they aren't the Phillies, but it's a great stepping stone. We've had people that been there since they started. They've been there since they were just the Philadelphia soccer team where they didn't have a name. And we literally just had a guy who just started working with the Eagles, working in data. We had someone just move to, I believe, Miami to work for the Dolphins. Like a lot of possibilities once you're getting your foot in the door. It's a very, very grinding career to start off, but once you're there, you're here. So it's definitely well worth it.
Yeah, I have it's actually how I got season tickets with the union. I have a friend um, who's graduated, started in sales, so inside sales, and it was an account executive with the union. Went over to premium then, and then moved to Washington to go work for the Commanders.
TJ?
TJ, yeah, yeah, and then TJ now is with the Nationals in baseball, doing sponsorship sales, and he did that all very quickly. He started with the union, and again, he played college football,
Yeah.
knew nothing about soccer. Same, almost what Jake said, knew nothing about soccer, and then all of a sudden, you know, did really well with the union, was promoted quickly, and then used that as an opportunity to move into football because that's really was his passion. But then found out he had an opportunity to advance his career in sponsorship sales with the Nationals, and yeah, TJ's a great guy. In fact, I'm going to probably bring him in to this class or my sales class later in the semester. So good.
Yeah. So something I would say with that is, if you prove yourself working for, a team or a league, your boss moves around too. They bring you to other places. Let's just say if they get a director job with the Eagles, it's not uncommon where they say, hey, go work with the Eagles with me, work under me or something like that. So, opportunities everywhere once you're in the door in sports. It's a very luxurious career once you're in. Getting in is the hard part, but you can always reach out to me if you have any questions and things like that. I'm here to help.
I don't know if I'd call it luxurious.
Yeah, definitely not luxurious. Definitely not.
I don't think sports is an incredible career, and I look back on my tenure with the Eagles and in sports, and it was unbelievable, and it's a great career. But
Absolutely.
it's a grind.
It's a
and,
grind.
You gotta love it. You definitely gotta love it, and I miss it. I tell people all the time I miss game day. Like I go to an Eagles game as a fan now. It's just not the same. And so my advice to you and to anybody else is enjoy the game day experience. If you like working with people and customers and fans, it's an incredible career. It really is. So, all right, Jake, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, how should they do that? LinkedIn is best, or
go link with me on LinkedIn. And actually, I brought up in the beginning of class, I actually run my own grassroots, youth basketball tournaments and soccer tournaments. I'm actually hiring a few paid interns for the spring semester. I actually got a few resumes already in. One is going to be operations, and two is going to be social media. If that's something that you are interested in, please, connect with me on LinkedIn, send me your resume. I'll look it over. I'll be posting about it probably more so the December timeframe. But yeah, if you want some sort of start in December, and we're actually right now, a few articles are written about like how we're the fastest growing, tournament operator within the Maryland, Delaware, and PA area. So we're growing very quickly. You know, I actually hired someone to work full time for me because, you know, I still work with the union. So it's a lot of opportunity that I have for you guys. And now I see your guys' faces and know your names. You know, I can potentially, you know, get you guys an interview and talk about that more down the line. But make sure to connect with me.
Okay.
You know, and send me your resume if you would like. And yeah, no, I'd be happy to connect with you guys.
Okay. So LinkedIn's the best bet. So all right. Well, Jake, I appreciate it. It's great catching up with you. Good seeing you.
Yeah,
I'm really
great.
happy to see, you know, you're doing really well now. And, you know, again, I thought it was a great opportunity for the students to hear your story. So thank you for taking the time out of your schedule, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a season ticket holder actually for St. Joe's B-ball. So you guys see me there, don't shy away, say hello. You know, I'm a diehard St. Joe's basketball guy.
Yeah,
So
the schedule just came out. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, good. I'll definitely see you at Hagen then.
Cool. Yeah, no, sounds good. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out. Let me chat about the union with you guys. You know,
All right. Thanks, Jake.
of course, you have a good one.